It's Tromonte and friends. Let's have a conversation.
All right, so we have another episode of Tromonte and Friends. I have my gracious big sister here. Introduce yourself
I'm Vonda, everybody.
and plug your podcast.
Yes, the host and founder of Oh Just Talk, where nothing is off the table. So
Nothing is off.
subscribe and follow everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, IG.
And she's big on Twitter, so
I
definitely
am.
follow her on Twitter. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too.
It's nice to see that you're doing well. I did side note do a episode on her podcast that y'all can watch. This is my first time having her on my own.
And I'm
Tell them,
scared, y'all.
tell them where you located.
I am in Delaware. I love it. I used to be in Florida, but I relocated and it is absolutely amazing.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it, Vonda. You have been through a lot the past couple years, especially recently.
Mm,
COVID has affected you. I would venture to say probably more than most people.
agreed.
I first want to say, how are you grieving? How is your mental health, and how is your family doing with everything that's transpired?
Um, Mentally, it has been rough. I am in counseling. Um, that's helped a lot. And so just to let your viewers know, I lost my mom to COVID-19. And one of the problems with that is that me, my brother, and my sister, we could not gather. She passed away at the very beginning, Easter Sunday, April 12th of 2020. And we couldn't gather, we couldn't do anything. So me, my sister, and my brother, we weren't, or no anybody in the family, we weren't able to properly grieve the loss of my mom. And and I'm originally from Maryland, so that has a lot to do with why I'm in Delaware. So exactly a year later in April, the same Thursday that my mother got admitted to the hospital, my mom's sister did. My aunt Barbara got admitted. The only difference was the year.
Hmm.
She passed away from COVID-19. Exactly 14 days after that, my mom and my aunt Barbara's oldest sister, she didn't pass away from COVID, but she passed away on
Oh,
April 30th. My aunt Barbara was April 16th. So it has been rough. I now literally I have one aunt and I have one uncle. And this I have been vaccinated. It is extremely frustrating this late in the game for me to hear anybody say, "Oh, it's not real." COVID, where the fuck y'all been? It is real.
very much so.
I don't get it, but it's been hard. A lot. April, I just I wasn't even able to function. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I was crying, just not how, why, it, how come this is happening. But it's been hard, and I take it seriously. I don't um do anything. I do as little as possible. If I go to the store, I try to go in the morning so I don't have to deal with people and come straight home. It's scary.
Seeing as you have experienced that, it's not like it's back to back for you and your family. And you said you started going to counseling.
Hmm.
How has counseling helped you through this process? And were you going to counseling, or did you ever consider it before all this happened?
And I was, I'm an Air Force veteran, so I was going to counseling already, but that was military related. But now I also have counseling for this. And actually, it's been very, very helpful. I have distraction methods. Like one of them involves my children, my son and my youngest daughter. My son lives in Georgia. My youngest daughter lives in Florida. But yesterday we were on the phone for FaceTime, 4 hours playing games. My son was telling horrible jokes, but we play puzzles together. We do competitive things together. It's been very, very, very helpful. So there are different things that I utilize that I never would have thought of doing had I never started counseling.
Mhm.
And I recommend it. I'm a fan. I know a lot of people, there are, some Black people that believe in it. There are a lot of Black people that don't believe in counseling, but I'm a fan and I recommend it.
Mm. S- the topic of death is something a lot of us avoid. Has the passing of close family members to you, has it changed your perspective on death? Has it given you a different viewpoint of your own mortality?
Um, yes. And definitely I I want to live life. I'm actually putting myself first. So right now I live in Delaware, but you'll be the first to know, and all of your viewers, I'm actually moving to Maryland. I'm relocating. So getting ready to do my thing.
Huh.
So it's
Congrats,
important.
congrats.
Thank you. So it's very important for me to put Vonda first. I can't keep sowing time and energy, more time and energy into other people than I do myself. My
Mhm.
children are grown, they're self-sufficient. It's time for me. And that's the biggest thing I've learned because everything happened so, I mean, Tromonte, it happened so fast.
Yeah.
So tomorrow truly is not promised. So I don't want to be like working hard in my 60s. I no, it's time for me. I got to start living life and enjoying life, taking
Mhm.
road trips, doing what Vonda wants to do.
Yeah, that's big. Ironically, I was talking to my wife about the very same thing because um, you're probably aware we've had many people pass that are
Mm,
close to us within the same time frame. Things that have happened to you over the past year and a half, 2 years, and it's been a lot. I had a lot of people pass when I was really young, so I started really young, having very close people pass to me. And as I've become an adult, I don't know if I know how to like properly deal with death. 'Cause I think I'm probably desensitized. I've had so many people die,
mm,
and that's not good to be desensitized to things.
it's
Because
not.
you gotta find a medium or a method to release it. Because as much as we want to put on this facade, that we're tough, we can get through anything, we're not, and we could break down. We could break
That's
down,
true.
and especially for a man, we had like this fake masculinity thing. We can't cry, we can't show vulnerability. I'm not really like that. I'd be vulnerable, um, but it is a lot to take in because I'll be the first to admit here. I've admitted this before. When I first heard about COVID, I didn't think it was fake, but I didn't think it was as serious as it became.
Mm,
Just all of us are kind of not really informed. So I'm thinking like, yeah, it's going to pass. Like it's no big deal. We've been through this somewhat before, but we're still in it now. And I don't think
yes,
anyone could have forecasted that this would happen this long.
exactly.
People to pass so fast. I know it affects older people more, of course, but to see young people pass, young people get affected by it,
True.
and also just dealing with friends and family. Like you're a good friend of mine, and for you, I think what was the day? Me and Lisa were going out to eat, and these things just come to me, and I just like I'm thinking of Vonda. Let me text her, see how she doing, and then that's when you relayed the information to me.
Yep, your
I would have
timing.
never known. I would have never known. So it has been hard on everyone. Um, but I'm glad to see that you're still here. I'm glad to see that you seem like you're in very good spirits.
I am.
Uh, I know it's taking you some time to get there. Um, I know you still have a ways to go to get to where you
Yeah.
want to be emotionally. Um, you said you found more bonding time, like with your children. Have you found yourself doing more creative things since we've been quarantined a lot of last year and still kind of personally quarantined, depending on like your viewpoint? What else have you found out about yourself since you've been isolated probably more than usual?
Well, okay, so I've had my own business for a while, for several years. So one thing I did, and I mainly did it, I knew April was going to be rough because of my mom passing. I also knew I had to prepare myself for Mother's Day, for people texting me or calling saying, "Oh, it's been a year without your mom." Some people are so insensitive. I hate that. But, I had to prepare myself. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to make, some recordings. And I recorded with my youngest daughter. And I'm not going to do anything because I just think it's going to be rough. And so then, and I never made a website for Oh Just Talk. But in February or March, I was like, make a website, Vonda, and go ahead and get it monetized, or try to get it monetized so you can have some money flowing in. So made just to prepare for April, so I wouldn't have to do anything. So this is what I consider part of being creative. But so I applied to be an affiliate with Amazon and for Google AdSense, got approved, payments coming in.
Mm.
So I was good. But yeah, I would say that I've gotten a little bit creative with my thinking, and because I'm determined, I don't want to punch a time clock for anybody unless I have to. So as far as that goes, yes. And then creative as far as seeing people just like you, meeting people, especially people of color. I
Mhm.
was fortunate to meet a Native American guy who happens to be from my hometown. We were able to connect. And when I get back to Maryland already, him and I were going to get busy doing things. So I'm all about, I truly believe in connections, doing the right thing. So yeah, I've been creative in that area, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. You mentioned you being working for yourself, not working
Hmm.
for anyone. Can you touch on how difficult it is to be independent and to run a small business as long as you run it, and some of the obstacles you've had to overcome? Because there is a notion, especially due to social media is the devil. So especially due to social media,
Not Twitter,
uh,
y'all.
not Twitter, especially due to social media, with everybody wants to be rich. They think it just
Yes.
happens fast. Everyone wants to run their own business. They think it's just easy. So it's something that you can do and you're not going to fail at. Can you talk about the trials? Because you're someone who's actually doing it in real time.
One, I just need to stress this. Anything related to LLM, you do not have your own business. I don't care what it is.
Mm.
I don't care if it's perfume, candles, travel, if it's not a business name you picked out, and if your name is not on the actual LLC or business license, it is not yours.
She's referring to multi-level marketing, you guys.
Hello,
Just
somebody.
missed it.
So that's the first thing. The biggest problem I see is that there's the appearance that people think things are just going to come to them.
Mhm.
You've got to have the same energy that you would if you were making $10 an hour. You've got to have that same energy and belief in yourself, no matter how hard it takes. Like right now, before we came on, I was already researching the radio stations and the TV stations in Maryland. So I'll know, where to go, who to contact when COVID is up and I'm comfortable getting back in. But it's hard. You got to stay dedicated. You can't
Right.
you can't give up. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in what you're selling or promoting, nobody else is going to believe in it. And they shouldn't.
Mhm.
And
So
oh my God, I don't know how many times I've told people, just don't look at numbers. You can go to somebody's page that has 10,000 followers and you look at a post, only 2 likes.
yeah,
That means nothing.
you're right.
That
There's
means
no
nothing.
engagement. There's no
Knowing
engagement.
exactly. So you just have to keep pushing and you can't give up. And I'm telling you, thank good. I'm blessed. I have no complaints. because I have a roof over my head. All of my bills are paid and have been since this pandemic for a year, for more than a year. But I'm also good at saving. You have to, you've got to invest in yourself.
Mhm.
You've got to be patient, save a little bit, always take care of your bills, take care of your business connections, but invest in you. I don't, there was a young lady that asked if she contacted me and wanted to come on my podcast. She was starting her own business. She put it on hold to go and work for somebody else. What?
Did she mention why she did that?
To make a little bit more money. So she never started it back up. So you spent all of that money on a business license, making products that you're not even trying to sell.
Mm.
Oh, and that's the other thing I got creative with also. Side note, I'm just going to backtrack. I put together these little, I call them essential kits, but I put together these little kits that,
Mhm.
well, I gave away a lot because I also do that too. I try to give back to the community, but I'm also selling them. So, but yeah, people just, I don't know why it's so hard for people to put time and energy. If you truly believe in something, you got to give it everything. You
You
can't
do.
give up. You got to give it everything.
Have you had times, and I already know you're gonna keep it real, since everything has happened to you, have you ever thought about quitting everything?
Yes. And when my aunt Barbara passed away, I actually did. Um, that's the only time. Other than that, I was making connections, always thinking ahead. My mind is constantly thinking because when I turn 62, I'm not working. I'm not working until I'm 70, like I see a lot of other people do. I'm drawing my social security and I'm enjoying in life. I'm not doing it. So my mind is constantly thinking, always, what can I do next? Who should I connect with next?
Mhm.
But when my mom's middle sister passed away, I did. I was like, I can't do this. This is a wrap. But
Mhm.
I got through it thanks to family and counseling and um not only did I promise my children, but I promised myself I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to travel. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. So I'm
Mhm.
going to keep going.
Do you find you mentioned something about patience and talking about running a business?
Hmm.
Do you find that most people who come to you for advice, or most people that you interact with, are impatient when it comes to them running or thinking about running their own business? Because you mentioned the woman who came to you, and she was probably too patient. Like she like waited too long to start. And that's the thing about you said a lot of good stuff like about like not looking at numbers and stuff. So as you know, I didn't intend on starting my own podcast. I was a part of the Wave Report, and it just evolved or devolved, however you want to put it, into this. But I never compared my podcast to anyone else's. Of course, within your particular industry, you want to look to the people who do it the best, in your opinion, to study them and take some things away from them or to see what not to do. But a lot of the people, especially when it comes to podcasts, a lot of them are like, they already had a fan base before they started,
Hmm.
many of them. So it's like very few I could draw from that started like really from scratch. Nobody knew them and they built it up. Like the big podcast, like Joe Rogan's podcast, he was already like in
Yeah.
MMA. Like people already knew him. So he just kind of carried the small fan base over and he just built it from there, which is a little easier. It still take hard work. I'm not saying like it just magically happens. Um, but I wanted to personally connect with people. And I find myself to be a very patient person. If I would have compared myself to people, I would have probably quit a long time ago. Because that's one of the bad things about being on the internet all the time. You'll start comparing yourself to people, and you don't know their story. You don't know how they got there. You don't know what resources they have. Um, and with you, I always notice you don't give a fuck. But you just
I
do your
don't.
own thing. You like block out what's going on. You do your own
I
thing.
don't.
And but I do notice you really connect with people. And to
Yeah,
me, that's always the most important thing. Connecting with people. Because I believe in connections too. We wouldn't be on here if we didn't believe in it. How things
exactly.
work. You see how things work. And I love what you're doing, especially your couponing.
Yes.
I be paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm bringing
Uh,
that back.
are you?
I can't get away. Yeah. And as soon as Tromonte, I can't tell you how many people. I just got a message last night, Sunday night, from a lady who sent me a picture, and she was like, "I learned how to do this from you, Vonda. I love you." But yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I feel comfortable being around people, I'm starting that back up. I can't. Well, I've never actually left, and I still coupon.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue, because that's what got me. That's what
yeah.
elevated me. And nobody, thank goodness, I don't let people get inside of my head or in my ear, or I would have stopped.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going. So it paid off.
I built that fortress too, and I try to pass it on to my wife with her doing her own business. I don't I don't listen to a whole bunch of people. And
No, you don't.
it's not because I'm not open to advice. I am open to advice and wisdom, and but a lot of times people don't give that. They give unsolicited advice, and a lot of times it's negative, and they want you to stop. And at heart, they really
Yes.
want you to stop doing what you're doing.
Yep. They want to see you fail.
Yeah, they want to see you fail. They want to see you stop, and it's really a reflection of them not doing anything in their life. And so I try not to listen to too many people when it comes to like my life and my journey and with what I want to do. Um, and I think that's big that people like you have that type of attitude, and myself as well, and other people who are watching this, because we need more people like us in the world
I
who
agree.
inspire other people to just be yourself and do your own thing
I
instead
agree.
of following people. Because I'm gonna be real, most people ain't doing shit. They
They're
just
not.
like criticizing the people who are actually doing it and trying.
Yep.
Um,
That's a fact.
yeah, and your podcast, how did, because we said you had a podcast, but how did it initially begin? And how'd you choose the name?
Okay. So when I filed for divorce, the
Okay.
long ass divorce in 2018.
Okay.
Um, I don't have any relatives in Panama City, Florida, and that's where I used to live. So I knew I was going to relocate,
Mhm.
but then COVID hit, and I was like, well, damn, I'm not going to be able to interact with anybody, because in Panama City, I had a regular gig at one of the local TV stations for 6 years. I had a gig at one of the radio stations, all due to, my
Mhm.
coupon business. And I was like, I got to do something. And so I was like, you know what? I'll do a podcast. That way I don't have to interact with anybody. And I'll just talk, because nothing is off the table with me. I'll talk about anything. It
I know.
doesn't, yeah, matter what it is. Religion, I'm not
Mhm.
scared. I mean, anything. So sex,
Mhm.
anything. And so I was like, oh. And so then I said, well, I don't want to talk by myself. So I talked to my best friend Lydia. Um,
Shout out to
and
Lydia.
yep, shout out to Lydia, and asked her if she wanted to, participate. What did she think? And she said, yeah. And that's how it came to be.
Mm. You've had some interesting guests come on your podcast. And one thing I noticed about your podcast, you allow a lot of conversations to happen at once. I think I seen one episode. Y'all were wilding on that episode. I think that was the episode. It was you. I think Lydia was there, and it was another one of your women friends on there.
Okay, must have been
Y'all,
Kiara.
yeah, y'all were wilding on that episode, but it was real though. I like watching that type of stuff. Uh, you don't make yourself the center of your podcast.
No.
And I tried to, that's something that when I started Tromonte and Friends, I wanted to avoid. I always wanted to make it about the guests or whomever's coming. A lot of the
Yes.
times, unless like I have to guide the conversation, sometimes somebody will come on, like if it's two people, there are sometimes I was like sit on the side instead of the center because I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be
Right.
about what's being presented because we all have a story to tell. And if I wouldn't have met you, a lot of the stuff you told me, I would have never thought ever thought because you don't wear it. You don't wear it. And I'm not, it's not to say that anybody who wears things on their sleeves is bad,
Yeah.
but you're always cheerful. I've never seen you be negative towards anyone, even when you probably should. Never seen you be negative towards anyone. And you always keep that positive energy. And that's always something I wanted to embrace that. I was like, let me holler at Vonda, man. She cool, man. She cool. So I appreciate you. I do want to thank you, not just for coming on the episode, but for being like a beacon of light in my life. Because you don't get a lot of people, like that in the course of your life
That's
who
true.
truly like they love you for who you are. They're not trying to
Mm.
change you or mold you into being somebody else. They just like, hey man, they're real, they're raw, they're authentic, and I just like them. And I have that same respect for you.
You know, I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way. So I appreciate you.
Before we leave, I do want to ask, because you mentioned it about your divorce. You said it was a long divorce. Probably too long for your liking. Probably too long. But when it comes to divorce, did you know that you wanted to be divorced before it actually took place? So did you know for like, okay, it's probably time to leave the relationship? And did you wait too long? Because there's this narrative that people stay in marriages too long, but they kind of know when it's a wrap. Or did you leave when it was appropriate to leave?
If you would have asked me this question as soon, like right when I filed, I would have said, I stayed too long, but you know, since the divorce is final and I got alimony, no, the timing was perfect. So I'm just keeping it real. But that, I don't know if I told you, I filed, he sent my oldest daughter, inappropriate text messages. The minute she told me he wasn't at home, I told him, I sent him a text, and I never communicated with him after that. Never. The last thing I said to him was, stay the fuck away from my daughters. I'm filing for divorce and do not come back to this house. I meant that. And that's exactly what happened.
He didn't come back?
No, he did, but the locks were changed. I had already filed and he wasn't allowed. He couldn't get in. He called the sheriffs. The sheriffs told him, do not come back to this house until your divorce is final and you're allowed to. So, but I haven't had any more communication with him. So from the alimony standpoint, yeah, it was perfect timing. But outside of that, there were red flags. I should have. I never even should have married him, if I'm being honest. I never should have.
That's real.
So, and especially compared to the man I have now.
Oh, wow. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it.
It's a big difference because of how he treats me. He's respectful, kind, likes to laugh, laughs at my jokes that aren't even funny. But yeah, it's awesome.
Would you say getting divorced is one of the best things that's happened to you?
Yes. Yes. I have no regrets. If I had never filed for divorce, I'd still be in Panama City. I wouldn't even be where I'm at now. Wouldn't be near my family. I have a twin sister. Yeah, everything is, even with this pandemic, I'm still being blessed. Look, I'm on your podcast.
Yes, you are.
I wouldn't even be doing this. I never would have started Oh Just Talk.
You're right.
So yeah, definitely. I have no regrets. So yes.
You're right, because you wouldn't have started your podcast, you wouldn't have moved to where you are, then about to move again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So things all things are working for us, not against us.
Not
When bad
exactly.
things happen, we tend to get that viewpoint, like, why are these things happening to me? Instead of like looking for like, okay, what can I learn from this? While even like the worst thing, and I try to keep that mindset. But again, thank you for coming on. Do you want to plug anything before we go? I'm gonna drop everything in the description anyway for everybody.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. First of all, I'm so proud of you. You are awesome. And you always keep it real. But if your viewers if they can't remember Oh Just Talk, you can tell them to just go to ohjusttalk.com. Everything is there. Merch, all of my information, the YouTube channel, everything. They can find everything at ohjusttalk.com.
Okay, I will do. Be blessed,
You
Vonda.
too.
Please stay safe. Enjoy your boyfriend.
I am.
Enjoy.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey Andrew, what's up, man? What's up, man? And I got a lot of love for you. You'll be hearing from my wife soon because she wants to
I
come on
can't
your
wait.
podcast.
And she is anytime. I'm saying that to everybody. Anytime she wants to.
All right. And thank y'all for watching this episode. Y'all stay safe. Peace and love. And I'll talk to you soon, Vonda.
All right.